Please remember to like, subscribe and comment, as we love to hear back from our viewers. Also, if you enjoy our videos, please consider becoming a patron of our show through Patreon and or GoFundMe. Links are listed below the video in the description. From the deepest, darkest recesses of Dangerous Nerds headquarters, Keith Moncrief and Gerry Kissell.
Hey everyone, it's Keith
and Gerry
for Pop Culture Minefield. And this latest episode of Pop Culture Minefield is just going to be a lot of short takes in this episode. We're going to try to hit a few topics faster than we normally would. We'll still do a little talking because, you know, it's us.
Yeah.
Anyway, the first quick take is the press release from Fox covering the final transformation of Jeremiah into Joker on their hit series Gotham.
Should I throw up a graphic?
We'll throw up a graphic. Let's look right here.
That's crazy looking. That's crazy.
It's unusual.
I like the fact that it's got the feel when you watch the trailer. If you haven't seen it yet, we'll put the link down below. It's a really interesting trailer because it's reminiscent of The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah. And
because he's in Arkham drooling on himself.
It's weird. That's a good way. Remember, for all you that still like to bag on Gotham, this is an Elseworlds show.
I don't understand why people don't understand that. It's an Elseworlds show. It's not canon. Well, no, because it's an Elseworld. That's what Elseworld shows and comics do. They tell stories from a whole new perspective in a different time period and blah, blah, blah.
Why are you always expecting to have canon when, for the most part, when it comes to the comics, canon per se doesn't even last maybe even 10 years in comic books anyway.
Yeah, because they recycle.
Yeah.
It's like every 10 years they recycle the story and we get a whole new take on it. But more importantly, the one thing I did have a beef with Gotham this season was their take on Bane.
Yeah.
Which really, the creation of him, I didn't have a problem with. It's just how he looked.
Yeah.
With his Cupid doll hair. And I was just like, what the heck am I looking at here? It was comical. It was the goofiest thing I'd ever seen. And I'm friends with Chuck and Graham, and I know how they felt about it. They were not happy.
But again,
but they get a check.
Elseworlds. That's really
it's purely Elseworld. No, don't get pissed about it. Just go, oh, well, don't worry. They're not shitting on your version. They're not shitting on your version of the character that you like. They're not. This is an Elseworld show. Gotham does not take place in the same universe as any other DC shows that we're watching. And we watch all of them.
Yeah.
Because we're nerds. Nerds. I'm a geeky nerd. Anyway, so Gotham looks really good. I'm kind of stoked. You get to see the Batarang for the first time in the series in the Joker's hand.
Yeah.
And it's like, goosebumps. It means either I'm really excited or we're haunted. According to Ghost Adventures, when you get goosebumps, that means you're haunted.
It might be both.
I'm haunted.
Well,
I'm haunted by a terrible marriage.
The next thing we're going to be covering is the final trailer that was released for Godzilla King of Monsters.
Oh my god, again, I've got to tell you, I got goosebumps watching that thing. My eyes started getting all teary-eyed, misty, and I got choked up. I was just so 13 again. I was so 13, and I was squeeing all over myself. And it's like, what's that line from Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade? I giggle like a schoolgirl.
Mm-hmm.
That was me watching that Godzilla because and it's the second trailer this week that used that song.
Yeah.
Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
It's a good song.
Yeah, what was the other one that just did it? It was another horror. Oh my god! It's one of the new horror trailers, and I caught it, and I'm like, they used it too. That's really weird. Different studio, and someone had the same idea.
Yeah.
And used the same song, and I love the orchestral coverage of that song. It really pulls you in.
I just can't wait. I can't wait. And a lot of you who didn't really grow
and we got what, a month?
Yeah. If you didn't grow up with Godzilla, trust me, this is.
If you didn't grow up with Godzilla, your life sucked. That's all I got to say. Godzilla. Gojira! Oh, Gojira!
So we can both agree that's just a movie that it should be on your list.
Yeah, because don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the Godzilla movie, but he did not understand what fans wanted.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. A lot of these filmmakers, like that one guy, what's his name? He's going to be doing the Old Republic trilogy, I guess, or Star Wars movie, Ruin Johnson. And I just read that he's apparently got the Old Republic movie or something, the old Star Wars Republic. And I'm just like, oh, I can hardly wait till he messes that one up. But I have to tell you, it's like directors, the best directors of a property that has a huge following.
Yeah.
They're taking on a responsibility when they do that. And I really get kind of irritated with these directors that I want to do my movie, like Ruin Johnson did.
Yeah.
I'm going to make this movie for me. And it's like, well, the problem is you didn't make it for the fans. You need to make the movie for the fans, and that's what happened with Godzilla. I actually really liked this story because a lot of people didn't catch this, is that the two characters, Godzilla and the soldier, were on the same character arc.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't catch that. That was the first thing I noticed, because I pay attention to character arcs. They're important in good storytelling. And I noticed that they were on the same journey. And I love that.
Yeah.
And that moment of recognition where Godzilla looks down at him on that boat after they both save the day was just one of my favorite moments. But again, despite that, that was not a great Godzilla movie. We had kaiju that nobody knew. And we want kaiju that we know.
Yeah.
And we want to see Godzilla fight. Not in the last act. We want to see, basically just like the Incredible Hulk did back in the late 70s and going into the 80s, 3 green outbreaks per episode.
Yeah.
He would Hulk out 3 times every episode. So you're guaranteed to get the fun that you are looking for out of this show.
Yeah.
And that's what we kind of wanted with Godzilla. But it's a damn good movie.
Yeah.
I really love the story. But it's not a true Godzilla film. This new movie, this is a Godzilla movie. And I'm so stoked about that. And I love the pictures that have been snuck out by Legendary of Kong, Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yeah.
And it looks so uber badass. And in fact, when I got that Godzilla, I went looking for, and I'm going to go look again this week, for the same scale gorilla. So I can have, it's a very realistic gorilla. And I want to have Kong, and I'm going to go in there with a knife, and I'm going to scar him up a bit. And I'm going to do that. Because I'm a nerd. It's what we do. Stop making fun of me. I see you. You're mocking me. And I'm going to scar him up and up on his chest pads and going to get him all scarred up. And I'm going to put it up here, right here, on here, so you can see it. Eat it. You're going to like it, too. So, but anyway, that's a nice trailer. I'm sorry, I went off on one of my weird rants.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's what we do. We go off on our little rants.
Now, the next big story is that filming officially has begun on Dune.
Oh, my God. I did not think I would be as excited as I am about a movie. I really don't. And people, I'm like, why don't you like Jason Momoa? Why don't you like him in the movie? There are people out there that don't like that he's in there. And I'm like, are you kidding me? He's perfect for that character.
Are you high?
Yeah. Stop smoking crack.
It'll ruin your geek brain. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Especially you guys in the military. Stop smoking crack. It's not good for you. And drill sergeants don't like it.
I think I think he's definitely going to fit in. I mean, his look and everything is about what one would think that it should be for someone that's actually going undercover on Arrakis. Think, people. Read books. They're good for you. Especially Dune.
Yeah, see, I've only read the first 3 books. I read Dune, Dune Messiah, and Children of Dune.
Yeah.
I never read, what was the next one? Because it was the 3rd book where it actually finally rained.
God Emperor?
God Emperor of Dune?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I got to go back. I've only read those 3. And I'm a big Herbert fan. Yeah, he's a little bit long in the tooth in his description.
Yeah.
But, you know, fact is, you know, when he was writing that stuff, and this goes back to that dumbass that was writing the Star Wars stuff that got fired because of his political posts.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever his name is, I forget his name. He posted some comment talking smack about J.R.R. Tolkien. You know, just way too much description. It's like, you know, playing D&D. And I'm like going, you idiot, do you not understand that he established that style of storytelling? And back then, we didn't have the mass media and films and TV shows like we do today. So we couldn't imagine what that stuff looked like. So he went into just amazing descriptions.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Dune. Frank Herbert did the same thing.
Yeah, it was enough to be able to get people into the world so that he could tell the story that he wanted to tell. And it's a really, really multi-layered, multi-character story.
But there's a lot of world building, which is why those books are like this thick.
Yeah.
You know, when you pick up a Dune book, you are not going to read it overnight. That's a good, 2-week read.
At least. Now that we passed the 3rd story, it's time for the 4th one, which is Netflix confirmed that they are definitely doing a season 2 of Umbrella Academy. Duh!
That is outstanding. I really enjoyed that show. It was really good. We've talked about it before on the show. It's like, hey, this is how you do the X-Men. It's very simple. Shit, you look at DC and how they did Doom Patrol.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is how you do the X-Men. Living in a house.
Yep.
Not getting along.
Yep.
All that interpersonal drama, and then go out and fight together.
Yeah, and again,
figure out how to be a team.
This is how you do the X-Men.
So there you go. Looking forward to Marvel's interpretation, because basically we got the news that they're going to reboot Daredevil, Luke Cage, and I don't even know if they're going to reboot Jessica Jones.
They probably will.
You think so? Because the ratings were kind of low for that one.
Yeah.
Luke Cage did pretty good. And I enjoyed it. The 2nd season, I enjoyed it better than the 1st season. And I was really shocked at first until you and I had that conversation. Mm-hmm. What was going on? Like, why are we canceling Luke Cage? It's a good show. Mm-hmm. But Marvel absolutely has made it clear what they're going to do. They're going to do their thing their way. Kevin Feige is going to make sure that everything lines up the way he wants it to.
Yeah.
So we're going to get a new Daredevil. We're going to get a new Luke Cage. We're going to get all new Defenders. And hopefully we'll get Doc Strange in there.
And that's the great thing about having it all in the MCU, because you can get Hulk.
They can switch him in and out of the
Strange.
show and the movies. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, all the Netflix characters, plus Hulk and Doctor Strange, that's a Defenders that you never thought you'd ever be alive to see.
Well, we still have a problem, though, with Hulk, because who owns him? Who has the rights to him?
Well, as long as you're not attempting to make an individual Hulk feature, the MCU and Disney can continue to use Hulk as
the other stuff.
That's
okay.
Right. So that's the reason why you can't.
So they would be able to do Defenders then.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
But you can't do a Planet Hulk. You can't do any of the classic.
Which I know a lot of us would love to see Planet Hulk.
Yeah, Planet Hulk would rock.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, then we go into Mark Hamill appearing on season 2 of Nightfall.
Watched the first 2 episodes. I showed him a clip. I was thrown a bit by it because it just sounds like he's doing the Joker.
Yeah.
Oh, Holly. You know, he's doing it, but he's throwing in an English accent with it. So it threw me off. But the fact is, he's kind of a really evil Yoda in the show. He's a trainer for these new what do you call them? Trainees for the Templar Knights.
Okay.
And one of the main characters from the first season has been dishonored. And he wanted back into the Templar Brotherhood. They wouldn't let him back in. And he stayed and he camped outside the castle. And they would just mock him and throw shit at him. And finally, they realized he wasn't going to go away. And the only way he was allowed back in is if he came back in as an inductee. He had to be a trainee and had to go through the training all over again. And the Templars were the first special forces.
Yeah.
They always say that the Spartans were. But no, the Spartans were not special forces. They were just badasses. The first special forces were the Knights Templar. And they used actual tactical techniques that are still employed by the special forces to this day. And they train that way. And the show, because it's done by the History Channel, you know, all you guys out there that hate on the History Channel because they do a lot of alien stuff, shut up. Go away. Go away. Go away. Just for 5 minutes. Just for 5 minutes while I talk about how awesome the History Channel is because I love those alien shows. And you shut up! But the History Channel does put a lot into their shows for history when it comes to stuff like this. Yeah, there's going to be stuff here and there that's off. But what they're telling with this series is the events that lead up to the eventual Friday the 13th slaughter.
Yeah.
Ordered by the Pope and King Philip of France to go out and kill all the Knights Templar. And it's really interesting to see these last days of it depicted in a series like this. Of course, they modernize it a little bit. They have characters using language that they would never use because language was more important in that period. And so it had more gravitas.
Yeah.
So, I mean, seriously, if somebody told you to go to hell in the 12th and 13th century, those were fighting words.
Yeah.
Somebody could get stabbed over saying that to somebody else. They took it literally. That you meant that. And so it's interesting still to watch the show. If you've not watched the show, watch it. Mark Hamill is really freaking cool as their teacher. He's an evil Yoda. A butt-kicking Yoda.
Finally, we have the first publicity photo from DC All Access's series Stargirl. And
here, I'm going to throw up a graphic right here. Look at that. Look at her. Oh my God. What's that song? The line that opens the song with the girl goes,
yeah.
I like big butts and I cannot lie. Anyway, there you go. Look at her. That is Kim Basinger's daughter.
Yep.
And she definitely got the beauty from Mom. And just wow. And I love that DC's not afraid to let them be sexy.
Yeah.
Because being sexy does not mean anti-female. I know a lot of very sexy, hot, intelligent, amazing, freaking women who are feminists. And they don't mind showing that they look good.
Yeah.
They're not afraid of it.
Yeah.
So this is going to be good, though. Because I saw, who else is in it? Did you get a list of any of the other
I didn't get the exact list, but the big thing this past weekend, because of WonderCon, was the unveiling of this new publicity picture to let everyone know that Stargirl is on the way. But they also had a discussion of Swamp Thing. Now, Swamp Thing will be premiering on May 31st of this year. So it's not that long from now.
And it's on DC Universe.
DC All Access.
All Access. Or that's DC
Universe. DC Universe, I should say. Yeah, I keep saying All Access.
It's CBS is that one.
Yeah.
CBS.
Yeah. But Swamp Thing and Swamp Thing's being produced by Lynn Wiseman and James Wan and Mark Verheiden, who is a guy that writer-producer that's worked on The Mask.
Yeah, I don't know much about Les, but I know a lot about James Wan. So
yeah. This is good stuff. Good people behind.
So does that mean we're going to see a little bit of horror in there?
This is definitely going to be horror. The Swamp Thing is definitely going to be horror. They're going to try to base it off of the stories from
with Alan Moore.
But they're wanting to go a horror bent with the whole thing,
which is kind of period. But I don't know, because I liked the series back in the 80s, but I'm not sure if I would enjoy it today. But I'm sure they're going to do a good job with it. James Wan's in there. I will say I have my DC Universe thing, and I got to tell you, they got some great stuff. They got Shazam on there. They've got the Swamp Thing movies, all the Batman movies, Superman. There's a lot more catalog available.
They're about ready to release. They're going to attempt to release all of their comics digitally on the service,
and they should, because I enjoyed it. I've actually gotten caught up on some of the issues that from the 80s that because I quit reading comic books in 1986 after the Secret Wars. I got so angry at Marvel that for what they did by having to buy all these different comic titles, and then they would put out different covers on top of that for I got so mad. I sold all my Marvel comics. But I'm excited about this because DC's always been one of my favorites. I love Marvel, but I've always been a DC guy.
It's hard not to be a DC person.
Yeah, exactly.
It really is hard. I love both, but it's hard not to be a DC person.
We do. We really love both comics. We love all comics, to be honest with you. But DC has this place with me because they were the first that I read when I was a kid. And I just freaking love that. Although I will say one of my earliest heroes was Submariner. And I love that character.
Yeah. To be a fan of Marvel, especially during that period, and to have Submariner come in and
Stan Lee at his peak,
especially when he fought against the FF, badass.
It was good stuff.
But that's it. That's all the quick takes that we have.
That's all.
That is all for now. But if you enjoy, don't forget to click down below, okay? Make sure you hit that little icon, a little bell. That'll remind you.
Smash the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get updates. Because I post, if you guys aren't watching them, I post comments throughout the week in our little discussion area.
Yep.
So, but anyway, we'll see you guys on Thursday. And
for me, Keith.
And Gary.
Pop Culture Minefield.
And my mind's blown. It really was.
See ya.
Y'all come back now.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
Hi comics and monster fans, welcome to the Return to Monster Island Kickstarter campaign. I'm Nolan. You probably know my work from my years of working at Marvel and DC Comics. I'm the designer and co-creator of the Batman villain Bane. I've recently partnered with my friends at Ominous Press to bring you the 20th anniversary edition of Monster Island. And thanks to all of the backers that supported the project, it was a great success, and we can finally bring to you the long-awaited sequel, Return to Monster Island. It's been 20 years in the making, and I think everybody's been patient long enough. Return to Monster Island is the long-awaited sequel to my original story, Monster Island. It's been 20 years in the making. I've always wanted to do the sequel and the subsequent sequels. This was originally an idea that had 4 story parts, and this obviously is the first one. 2 years have passed since the original adventure, and our heroes, Mac and Duke, are called back to action. When the Monster Island shows up on the Navy radar screens above the Bering Sea, it's a race against time to get there before the Russians. A group of aliens has taken over the island, and our heroes have to set things right before the island disappears once more. New characters, new monsters, and new dangers await you on the Return to Monster Island. Some of the great rewards for this campaign include Return to Monster Island in full color, a colorized version of the original Monster Island, commission art done by me, and lots of other great stuff. Thank you for joining us for Return to Monster Island. I hope you'll consider pledging your support to this campaign. I know with your help it'll be a huge success.